Saturday, November 12, 2011. This is Mercedes Diesel Guy, and this is my 1993 Subaru Impreza. I did an oil change DIY video on this car a couple of months back, but that video ran really long, so I just want to give you a very quick video today without a lot of explanation. So, obviously to change the oil, it's best to raise the front end. On the Subarus, you can kind of get away with not raising the front end, but I like to put the car up on ramps and obviously, put a rock or a wheel chock behind the rear wheel. Next thing you're going to want to do is just loosen the oil cap. After you've loosened the oil cap, you want to drain the oil into a suitable container. You can see here, this is my drain pan, and in order to do that, you have to get underneath the car. And here is the drain plug on the bottom of the oil pan. It's a 17mm bolt, so you have to loosen that. And I've got my 17mm wrench on it, but I should use two hands. So I'm going to do that and drain out the oil. After you've drained out the oil, you put the drain plug back in and tighten it down with that same 17mm wrench. Next, you locate the oil filter, which is right next to the oil pan, and then you have to loosen this. Usually you can do it by hand. You have to turn it counterclockwise. But if it's a little bit stuck, you can use something like this right here. This is an oil filter pliers, and what you do is you just grip onto the filter here, and the metal teeth really kind of sink into it, and you can see it gets the oil filter turning nice and easy. So just gotta make sure I position the oil pan right underneath the filter, and at this point I should be able to move it by hand. Yeah, there it goes. You can see more oil is going to come out there. So loosen it a bit, let that drain off a bit, and then once it's dripping minimally, you can unscrew the filter the rest of the way and take it off. After you have the old oil filter off, you have to prepare the new one. So you take the new filter here out of the box. Then you take some fresh engine oil. Then what you do is get a little bit of fresh oil there on your thumb and just spread it around the gasket there in the new filter. Basically, you just want to lubricate that seal, and that'll help you get it onto the engine without it leaking. Now that the oil filter is ready, you install it on the engine. So you can see the flange here where the old oil filter came off. It's going to very quickly wipe that down with a rag. Now you take your new oil filter, and you can see it's got threads on the inside there. Match them up to the fitting there on the engine, and start turning the filter counterclockwise. Tighten it down until it reaches, tighten it down until it makes contact. Once the filter makes contact with the engine, go 3/4 to 1 more full turn to get it tight enough. And the last thing you have to do here is actually fill in the oil. You can see I have a funnel here where I took off the oil cap. Funnel's not necessary, but it does help. So for the Subaru EJ18 engine you see here, it takes 4.2 quarts. I know the EJ22 engine also takes 4.2. If you're in doubt, check your owner's manual. No need to take my word for it. So you fill in 4 quarts, and then you screw the cap back on, and then you just take the car off the ramps and you're done.